Demonization. Demonization of oneself or of other people. This goes along the lines as who are we to judge? There's going to be a lot of deciphering when it comes to approaching these kind of frequencies and discernment. So, why do we demonize other people? Why do we demonize the unknown? Is it societal conditioning? Is it a religious institution's conditioning? Are we dealing with our own shadows? We're going to use examples in order to approach these situations. If we are demonizing somebody because they do not have the same belief system as us, we have to understand ourselves and master oneself in order to decipher that situation. So, let's use an example as a Christian and a pagan. Witchcraft is the work of the devil, quote unquote. The devil is a negative entity made up by the Christian church. Thus, that's what they're going to use in order to demonize paganism. The pagan might be or think that anything that demonizes the natural way of a human being is of the devil or of a negative entity, and that should not be followed. So everybody has their own personal judgments. Everybody has their own personal ways of thinking. And one man's God or entity is another man's devil or negative entity or energy or demon. This has been noted throughout history. Certain religions picking up certain gods or goddesses and demonizing them. Or reusing kind of the nitpicking at that particular entity that has been worshipped and taking what they will from that entity and why it's worshipped, and leaving what it does not want to incorporate into its own religion. So, when approaching these subjects or approaching these frequencies, you have to understand that knowing oneself and knowing what you will not deal with, what does not serve your purpose, what does not serve your soul, is really how you're going to discern that particular subject or that particular person or that particular frequency. If you approach somebody and their frequency does not match yours and it rubs you the wrong way, question it. Why do I not like being around this person? Is it a shadow? Are they completely free and I wish I had that freedom? Are they practicing something I don't necessarily agree with, and why do I not necessarily agree with it? Are they praising a certain religious belief that I not necessarily agree with, or I think is evil, quote unquote? And then discern for yourself whether or not you want to deal with that person. What is demonization? Basically attacking someone else because you don't carry the same beliefs, thus stating that what they are built up of is negative or negatively influenced, or people will use morals. You don't have any morals. Anything that you approach in this life in regards to situations, life experiences, things of that nature, between you and Source. It's not between you and another human being. If you are approached with that situation, it is for you to learn from it, and this is in regards to you and another human being have an exchange of mind. But also know your own truth and what you stand in. Now, there are ways to kind of assess the situation. If you are approached with somebody that clearly states that they worship negative entities and I worship this entity in a negative way because this is how I feel about things, It is up to you whether or not to deal with that person. It is up to you to practice discernment. It is up to you to try to understand the situation. It's okay to question, why do you believe this? Why are you trying to draw negative energies to yourself? Usually that roots from a demonization of oneself. They grew up in a system which demonized them, thus they think they are negative entities, energies, or demons, or demon-led. I've seen this happen on more than one occasion where someone has demonized themselves because of the religious institutions they grew up in, and it has a lot to do with self-hatred. And that's something they have to address within themselves. If you are approached with a situation where somebody just has let's say I worship paganism, not me per se, but let's say the person worships paganism, they come across a Christian, and they're like, I just worship nature, the earth, the moon, the stars, the sun, and I have a deep respect for nature. What about that belief system triggers you as a Christian? And why do you feel it necessary to demonize that other person for their own personal belief systems when they seem relatively benign? When it comes from good intentions and a good place, because they just respect nature in general, or they respect worshiping the sun, or they respect worshiping the moon, or their matron and patron goddess. So what about that belief system triggers you as a Christian? Is it because you haven't grown up like that? Because you don't understand that belief system? Is it a certain amount of ignorance on your end? Is the pagan supposed to judge you for being Christian? No. Can you guys meet of mind and agree to disagree? Of course. But to automatically demonize something that you do not know or are not familiar with is a certain blind spot on the side of the human spirit. At that point in time, the person dealing with those particular shadows, triggers, things of that nature, and it is for you to address within oneself, but it's not for you to demonize anyone else. Everybody's on their own particular path at their own particular moment in their own particular space and time. It is their life and their life to live. Again, I do believe in constructive criticism. We all must learn from one another, but it's not for us to judge. That is demonization.